It's interesting to hear that guy plead not guilty in that New York courtroom when just a day or two ago he was talking about how surprised he was that Salman Rushdie is still alive after what he did to him. So we'll pick that up with Toby Young a little later. Ahead of that, let's take a quick tour d'horizon. That's French, but I'm thinking of doing the entire show in a foreign language twice a week to make it less depressing. Almost 3 years ago, something wacky wiggled free of a town nobody had heard of deep in the Chinese interior. And the response from every Western government except Sweden's was to do a total tanking of the economy. Oddly enough, governments are better at tanking the economy than at untanking it. So here we are, 3 years later, with everybody younger than, say, 55, 53 maybe, suddenly having to acquaint themselves with concepts thought to have died with their grandparents' disco LPs. Concepts like double-digit inflation. Ooh, double-digit inflation. What is that, a sex toy? No, it's something that destroys your savings. Oh, that's okay, I don't have any savings. Well, it also destroys your wages. Do you have any of those? It means you need to use more and more of your paycheck just for the basics, like not freezing in the winter months. Look at this here. Energy price cap could hit nearly £5,500 in April as gas prices spike again. Let's see, £5,500. That's getting close to 20% of UK median post-tax household income just for your heating bill. How did that happen? Well, there's this war in Europe. Really, a war in Europe. I've got a friend on the Costa. She didn't mention it. Well, no, it's not that part of Europe. Russia invaded Ukraine. Well, why does that make my heating bill go up? Because in order to save the Maldives from being washed away in the 22nd century, the European Union has outsourced all its energy needs to the Kremlin. So in order to bring Russia to its knees, we have to bring you to your knees first. And that's environmentally friendly. So environmentally friendly. Good luck scraping together that $5,500, but it's doing wonders for the planet. Just ask the Prime Minister. Look at this. Here's what he tweeted today. There are 10,000 days to go until the UK reaches net zero emissions, and we're making good progress. We have already supported 68,000 green jobs. So that's great. We've supported 68,000 green jobs, whatever, quote, supported means. So that's like one green job for every one of the 68,000 asylum seekers estimated to be washing up on the southern shore this year. So jobs-wise, that's net zero. Okay, jobs, schools, healthcare, immigration enforcement. Is there anything that isn't yet screwed? Yeah, farming. A basic building block of functioning society since man ceased to be a hunter-gatherer, starting in Sumer in southern Mesopotamia approximately 12,000 years ago. So naturally, wrecking 12,000 years of farming in about 12,000 minutes is now the priority. Quote, a meat tax is probably inevitable. Here's how it could work. Well, wait a minute. I've got a 5,000 quid electric bill and now you want to tax my beef? What if I don't want to pay the meat tax? No problem. You can move to Haywards Heath, West Sussex. Headline from the Independent. The first step in a long journey, the pioneering British town which has committed to veganism. I didn't know municipal entities actually had diets, but Haywards Heath now has an official diet of veganism. People still permitted to sneak out of Haywards Heath under cover of darkness and head to Tunbridge Wells to score a cheeseburger? Yeah, but only until they introduce digital currency, digital ID, digital social credit scores. COVID dramatically constrained freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. The world caught a Chinese virus, and as a strange side effect, apparently wound up catching Chinese attitudes to core Western liberties. And because all of us went along with it, Governments thought, oh, maybe while we're at it, we should just end the right to eat what you want and drive where you want and a whole bunch of other stuff too. But don't worry. The all-powerful state understands how vulnerable you are and is there to take care of you. In St. Column Road, that's a village in Cornwall about halfway between Plymouth and Penzance, an 87-year-old man fell badly. He was too badly injured to move him, so they called an ambulance and then waited and waited and waited and waited. And the ambulance showed up 15 hours later. The 87-year-old, who's been paying for the NHS more or less since it was founded, had 7 broken ribs. So that's a 2-hour, let me do the math on this, that's a 2-hour wait for every broken rib, plus 25 minutes apiece for each of his 2 pelvic fractures, and a final 10 minutes for his arm wound. To protect him from the elements, his family built a shelter around him using a children's football goal, a tarpaulin, and some umbrellas. That's fantastic, isn't it? Protect the NHS. Look at that. Look at that. That's what he had to stay in for 15 hours. A children's football net. Protect the NHS. Move into your kids' football net for 15 hours. But don't worry, our globalist rulers are there for you. Here's Hanna Sarin, the Prime Minister of Finland. That's her on the left. She is one funky prime minister. I certainly wouldn't want to see Boris Johnson or even Jacinda Ardern doing that. She might need some downtime in the football net, though.